he wants me to send a link to YouTube. So she can watch it tomorrow and take the rest. I said, no, just take care of yourself. Look, boss, I'll get through it. We did that for what, all years. Just take care of yourself. Okay. And help that?
Yes.
Well, it did there, and looks like, no, you're not froze.
Oh, no, 1 minute. Okay, Kendall said he'd be here, so assuming he would be here, didn't hear from Steve.
Not there.
Alan's gonna zoom in.
Here comes this.
Uh,
Hi.
Ellen isn't with us tonight, but she'll be joining us via Zoom, for. So, gave her early present.
Oh, yeah, she said she might.
So, I don't know where she'd rather go see it, maybe even come sit with us.
I'm hurt.
As we welcome before you walked in. So, Liz, to the best of my knowledge, is still in the hospital. She hasn't shared why or which hospital. But she's very closed mouth on her first life, and that's okay.
Yes, hers to yield or not.
But, you have her email, she is emailing, so she is in a coma.
That's always a good sign.
So you can, maybe send her,
Thank you for that information. I didn't know if it was
she
being
was,
planned in and out or whether it was something else, so.
she, like I said, is very close to her. She wanted to watch the YouTube tomorrow and do the minutes. I told her no.
It's okay.
Get well.
Exactly.
Decker living fence. Won't be going anywhere for a while there.
Yeah, okay.
We sent it to the zoning board with a negative recommendation, the zoning board canceled their last meeting. That was the
There
only
she
thing
is.
we're talking. Hey,
Hello, Steve. How are you guys? Good. I saw the Florida address on the notice and I thought, maybe he went back to.
You saw the what now?
The Florida address on the meeting notice.
Yeah, that notice has been up there.
it's better safe than sorry.
That's a newspaper, right? That's that notice is on?
Ellen, you're on mute.
Well, it's on the website too.
Oh, it is,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
That's better. We're just,
Congratulations.
What's that?
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited. I get to meet her tomorrow. So today is, or tomorrow's a long flight day. I'm just trying to pack and I'm very excited.
yeah. But as I said, the zoning board canceled us since we only had one item, so. they won't hear until the 14th, so. Um, let's see, Brandon hasn't. His engineers haven't got us anything yet, so he's in limbo. Yeah, all his complaint is, you know, we slow things down,
Well, the best defense.
you know, Kevin and I both reminded him, we can't do anything until his engineer gets that done and so on and so forth. The LWRP is been updated, as everybody knows. However, before it goes for final approval, it has to be reviewed first by the zoning board to see if there's conflicts. And then every review by us. Like, so Kevin, I might sit down with him and look at it with him sometime this next week. I believe I mentioned at the last meeting that Bruce Carey is looking to put a pier in. He's,
Where would that be? Oops.
real trust, right?
Okay,
Where those barges are now.
Yeah, kind of.
oh, okay, were those two,
I think that's where the permit or whatever
The,
is. With that property.
there's only a few places though under the water, and that's one of them. Caitlin owns under the water. And it, that went with, condos and all that. So he owns under the water if he wants to put a pier. Well, that makes it a little easier, but you know, he still has a long road to go.
what would the objective be? To create a little marina? Or a big marina?
It's one straight shot out. I didn't count the slips, but maybe 20 slips. But Bruce is Bruce. He's not to the best of my knowledge, it hasn't arrived yet, but he bought a vintage yacht.
Oh, okay,
And he wants a place to put that. And he's hoping to lure the Los Loomis back to this side of the bay. In that, one of his obstacles is he's got to get Department of Transportation to sign off. He wants to fill in basically put a pier. So that buses can pull off on that side of the road to unload tourists.
look at that, yeah,
He'll have to go through,
DEC, Army Corps.
even though he owns the land, there's a lot of other DEC concerns.
Do you have a sense of how many, frontage feet it exists? There's a littoral lines through that area, what being,
From what,
what do you call it, concave?
well, basically, when Kevin gets on, I'll ask him to confirm it, but his littoral lines go straight out. So go to the back of that. What used to be a condo, shoot out, and a parking lot and shoot out.
Okay,
So it's fairly large.
so it is fairly large, okay. I didn't know how much was there.
I did a quick look at the drawings. There was adequate room between his dock and the Caitlin docks for boats to maneuver.
Caitlin or
Not
Rose
Caitlin.
Marine?
I'm sorry.
So,
Sodas Marine.
Okay.
I apologize.
That's okay. Just want to make sure we're,
No, No, I appreciate you mentioning that. It is Silver Spring up. And that is fairly deep water there. Uh.
Any idea when that might be headed our way?
Well, DEC came up with a new system where things go into a communal portal, and then each agency comments on it, and then shares their ideas with each other. So we have to put that out there for them. Then after they've had a chance to think about it, then we'll declare ourselves lead agency. Hire an engineer. Those of us who work through this with Brandon, you know, the engineer will help us with this. There'll be a full seeker. We'll of course check the versus engineering and this is a DOC or sorry, DOT will have to be involved, and the county has to be involved, and zoning has to be involved. So we're talking a minimum of 6 to 9 months. So
Yeah.
it's not gonna start this year. I think everybody probably caught that typo of Kevin's that was on
Yeah,
On the shelter?
yeah. He used one of my stunts, he cut and paste. And that part,
We've all been guilty of it.
and that part went to the diagram on Park Loretta doing the bicycles. Does anybody have any questions about what we're looking at tonight?
I saw that, Kevin gave his interpretation of a permanent boat hoist, but there was no mention of the boat house that we had requested.
It all goes back to a definition of what a building,
Okay,
and the definition that's in our code book is quite inadequate.
okay,
And they honest, my personal thoughts would be that we need to look at updating some of the definitions.
mhm,
Well, there's a lot of different ways that could be assessed. I get part of his logic, not all of it. But it was helpful to have him put down what he did put down.
Well, I thought having it in writing was easier than just listening.
Sorry,
I thought it was better to have it in writing than-
yeah,
and just.
Right.
Because when he did that at the last meeting, I got lost. You know, Kevin has said if we want to change it, we can change it. He said, won't bother him, he just has to interpret it using those
Right.
definitions. So. Oh, I almost forgot. 151, short-term rental will be going. They're having the public hearing on that on July 24th.
okay,
The village meeting was scheduled for July 17th. But due to lack of people who will be available, they moved it to the 24th and decided they would do the public hearing before the meeting, and then they would just vote on it at the meeting. Of course, there's always gonna be naysayers, but, you know, one person was saying, well, rentals are down, you know, we don't, you know, this is gonna hurt rentals. Well, it's not hurt rentals. Rentals are down because it's, you know, you got more than what market will carry. Saturated the market with them, so no, you don't get as many rentals as you used to because they go elsewhere. But they didn't want nobody wanted to limit the number of short-term rentals. So. That's, you know. So.
The economics of it will,
Hmm?
I said the economics of it will shift
Well, that's.
things out.
They'll level themselves.
Well, it'll shake out, you know, like anything else. If you have oversupply, some of it's gonna drop out, people will say, I can't do this, so. So hopefully you get, people who are wanting to be full-time residents. Yeah.
I have a question on the OWRP comprehensive plan. What are we going to be asked to do? I mean, you're not going to be making changes to, I mean, that's already been vetted, hasn't it?
Well,
I mean,
if there's
this
gonna
is
be
just,
changes, it'll probably come from complex result,
right,
and that's why it's going to them first. They want us to look it over and sign off on it, saying we're okay with it.
I don't know if anyone else has had a chance to take a look at it, and as importantly, I didn't see Steve or Ellen on the original distribution of that email from Sharon. Was that an oversight on her part?
Yes, it was.
Okay, did that get corrected?
No, but that will be in just a minute.
Okay, okay. So she was sort of moving the process forward on the LWRP rewrite, redraft. Send it to us for review and any sort of input that we might have. Okay, I didn't see the two of you on that.
appreciate that.
This is actually you're talking about the short-term rental that the village is working on.
No, we're on.
We were talking about that before.
Oh,
This is a separate,
okay, what's
This
the,
is a
yeah,
master plan.
like, on the wall, is that part of it?
So it's the comprehensive plan for the village,
I got it, okay.
okay, if you will. It basically says, here's the direction we think we should be going as a village in various
Okay, is this reviewed on an annual basis or
They're
every
all-
10 years?
10-year, maybe.
Maybe,
Every
maybe
50?
every 50 years?
This has been 10 years in the process.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
okay, well, that makes sense.
So can I ask a question? Only because I had seen, and pardon my ignorance, but I had seen a lot of activity on Facebook recently about the dock situation. Did you guys see that? Like
No,
the fact that there aren't more public docks for people to, to utilize for you, which would help to drive business to the local restaurants and things like that. Is that something that we will be asked to look at as well?
well, itinerant docks have been a problem, however. The village has been offered a set of docks that Brandon is replacing. They're in good shape, but you may have noticed he's going with those plastic float ones. So the village and the county are looking at taking parts of those to establish a community. It's something they've been talking about for
50 years.
almost.
25.
They've negotiated with a couple landowners. Down near the, point. Sharon Sills. Sharon Fitzgerald, actually, but most people still know her as Sharon Sills. So. She, been negotiating. Using some of her property.
But part of that, Ellen, is, if, when you read through the comprehensive plan,
Mm-hmm.
that issue is addressed, the need for, or the desire for public dockage.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank
Right.
you.
of it. So it is part of incorporated in the plan.
Okay.
And
Thank
I
you.
would say that just from the amount of interest that has been associated with the subject, it's getting closer to a reality. Although it has ebbed and flowed in its own right.
Unfortunately, I'm a text here from Kevin. Things have changed that I wasn't aware of. And it seems that, I don't know if you knew where the docks were being done by the public works there. People, Facebook post, to the attention of the neighbors who complained to DEC. The DEC gave Brandon 1 week to remove the dogs from the water or get arrested. So now he's going to have them take out of the water this week, which destroyed it.
To remove what, I'm sorry?
To remove those docks that they were gonna give to the village.
Oh,
In First Creek, right? Those docks. They've been sitting in First Creek.
They've been, rolling, around a corner from the public dock there on 14.
on Harriman.
Yeah, yeah. In First Creek.
Yeah, Kevin wants to make sure I mention that they were not tied to the launch, they were tied to the shore. Now, we were sitting at TikTok, rock, you could see it. Yeah.
Bruce, how much did you want to get into the review at this point of the LWRP? Any guidance, direction to us? One of the things that I observed was that several of the informational graphics that are included in the plan are from resources that are not part of the village study. They were maybe DEC or NOAA or who knows, but they aren't necessarily consistent. And in at least in a couple instances, they appear to be outdated. Is there any interest in pointing that kind of stuff out to Sharon?
I think that's why they want us to look at it.
Okay,
You gotta give zoning first crack, so, but
And zoning look at it. We do.
thank you.
But,
You'd think that that would-
I do encourage people to look it over. I know it's lengthy,
it's-
I know that. But
Yeah.
I also know that, in a couple of the, projects that have come before us, there were one side quoting from LWRP to support their side.
Yeah.
The other side is quoting from the LWRP to support their side, because they conflicted.
Yes,
It conflicted with itself. So it would be nice if that was taken care of.
I did have a question about the fence review for this evening.
The
Did we want to put a fence across the front,
front of the,
Bayside?
yes,
Is that allowed in our code?
no. We're gonna have to go to zoning for,
Okay,
we're just first step.
okay,
So when they present, we'll listen to them and then make a recommendation one way or the other.
that application appeared to include a plot drawing that indicated that there was a structure there. But there's no structure. This was at 53,
House,
there's a boathouse. Which was not on the drawing.
right.
let me put down a few pages here. Well, no, it's not showing that.
Which address are we talking?
Sorry.
Which address are we talking about?
8353, I believe that it's Steve.
Which one?
8353.
Yes. Yeah, because it's, where the sign is an empty lot.
That's theirs also.
Right, and then the,
Yes,
No, I'm sorry.
that was,
83.
that was a little confusing.
That was 83, 85.
85.
Yeah.
We'll have to have it corrected on
Okay.
the application. No. Well, we have a couple minutes here before we can start. Oh, by the way, you know, my two granddaughters love cell camp. Was totally thrown. I thought the older one would be the one who, man. She normally very withdrawn. Wow. She was out there having a great time making friends and
My grandson is there again this week. He did the Opti Boomers, the half-day program for the last 2 years. He's pretty reticent socially. And just dives into the sailing thing with both feet. Loves it. Just loves it.
the younger one's favorite part was when they capsized, but she had to get back on the boat. I said, "Well, now aren't you happy they taught you how to do that the first day?"
I was over there today and there was this little girl, she couldn't have been more than 7. She was in the office. Pretty worried about this whole capsize thing.
Well,
It's
Megan was.
unnerving.
Megan's normally the outgoing tomboy, to the older one is the one who sits in a room and reads and. It's kind of flip. But they both decided they want to come back for at least 2 weeks.
Oh, good.
I may have to end up buying a boat after all.
Now, when you think about it, you know, I could stay home and I could be inside, or I could be out in the bay sailing.
Well, I've got a motorboat. You know, we're all going to be in the same kind of with a laser or something.
It's,
You can buy my boat,
What do you have?
Catalina. So
How big?
42.
oh, a house.
Yeah, that'll fit right at my, 20. 32-foot dock I got, you know.
We went to Fairhaven for the
It
holidays.
would cause a family problem because my wife's brother has a 38,
Beneteau,
trying to remember. the Name of it.
Beneteau.
Yeah,
You know,
the valve comes straight down. Yeah.
Yeah. Plumb bob.
Yeah. Okay, well, it is the magic hour. Okay, we call this meeting to order. It was advertised in the Wayne Times and posted on the village website. Our first action is to review the minutes of the June 17th planning board meeting. So if you take a minute, look those over, if you have them already.
Make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
I second.
I have to abstain because I was not present, so.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It passed. Thank you. All right. This first part of our meeting, public's invited to observe. But there's no public comment in this section. Our first review is offense review. Who wants to talk?
She does.
You can either stand at the podium or sit on the empty chair and make yourself.
Hi there. My name is Rebecca Orange. This is my husband, Bill Patton, and, we've been very fortunate. He's lived in Sodas his whole life, and I moved out there when I got married. Beautiful check. So what we are trying to accomplish is we own, a year-round home at 8585 Greg Street. Okay, we were able to purchase the property next door, 8583, which was falling down, filled with mold on every surface. So, we obtained a permit and we took it down ourselves. Okay, so it's an empty lot. So what we are trying to accomplish is, we have pets, but I also have 4 sons that range in age from 26 to 18. So currently I do not have grandchildren, but I am smart enough to realize this is the next thing coming quick with children at that age. So I am trying to enclose the rear of our house. So we are on the north side of the street, okay? So out the back door deck is to the north of the house. So we are simply trying to enclose most of the property, which is a shallow area, from the house to the break wall. Our property line looks like, the state of Utah. If I draw it the way you would see it, if you are at the road and you look at 85,
We have it in front
it
of us.
goes like this. Okay, so what we are trying to do is just connect from the back of the house. And then again to the, from one side of the back of the house, around, adjacent to the break wall and then attaching back. We have 3 gates so far, that allow access. 4 gates. We have 4 gates that, I think you can see in the picture, that provide access.
The fence is also, only for 85, but not 85, 83.
Right.
That was that was
Yes.
one of my questions that was very confusing.
And what we have, it looks like wrought iron, but it's a steel see-through, so there is no view obstructed or anything like that. So. And really, my intention is knowing I have 4 children, when they come to the house and they bring their significant other. We have 8 people plus 2, and then having grandchildren, it will be, ongoing, and it would be nice to secure that area and no one is going out the back deck and being able to, access the water without,
Sounds like one day you're gonna have to build on that up to pond.
So that's what we're trying to accomplish,
So you want a fence that's gonna go across the bay,
yeah.
not just to the bay, so you want to close it completely.
Well, and if I may add, what we have currently is we have a raised break wall that comes up this far, okay? So the fence would come up this far. So really, what we're doing is increasing that maybe 2 feet.
Right, but you're still blocking the ability to, if there was a water rescue or something like that, there would be a fence in the way.
But there's
Except for the
gates on,
gates.
on all the corners.
So are the gates gonna be locked?
No, they'll be left open. So,
As I explained when I visited, the code doesn't allow fences to go to the break wall. However, there have been exceptions made when that 10-foot piece is removable or a double gate. So the whole purpose was for emergency use, which really got pushed to the forefront during the high water events, which I know that you've done.
right,
So, but that will take a action from the zoning. We cannot grant that. What we can do is make a recommendation to them one way or another, but, as I said,
I don't recall offhand any instances where we've not only gone to the break wall on either side, but also crossed the waterfront, if you will,
there,
with a fence. Can you recall any?
not to that extent, there was one that was allowed by zoning to extend his fence to the break wall and then place piece top the break wall so that the dog didn't jump.
Yeah,
But that's the only one that
it was more or less a gate over the top of the break wall as it proceeded along.
It's the only
Yeah.
one that I can,
If I may, I believe next door, Wayne and Joanne Depew, they have their enclosed because of needs. It is a lower fence, but I believe it is enclosed. Because of
I didn't see that. I could see you going to the break wall, but I didn't see it going this way.
Okay,
What's the name on that?
Depew,
Wayne
D E
Depew.
P E W.
That's what we call.
I was there today. I don't.
Yeah, I recall seeing it as well, but I didn't see it going
Yeah,
again across the
I
waterfront.
saw a lot of them going to the waterfront.
Right. I did as well, but I wouldn't want to swear to it.
I know, and me as well. I believe that they have a gate that allows them to access their docks, which leads me to believe there is a fence. So,
Yeah, with all of your good pictures, we don't have a view over there.
You know,
Yeah, go ahead.
Kevin, do you know anything about, anybody else who has a fence that runs along their brick wall?
Not that I can remember. I know you guys have done, like, not you guys, but zoning board has like approved a few right up to the break wall. And those last 10 feet or so typically are temporary if there's congestion, or if the break wall is high enough, if it's been a raised break wall, that's usually their justification for allowing the fence to go all the way. As for running parallel with the shore, I can't think of any right now off the top of my head that run parallel.
But there's no, nothing in the code that prohibits that.
Yes, you can't go within 10 feet of a break wall. So if you're right up against or on top of it, then you're against it.
Right.
Well, almost by definition, if you can't go within 10 feet of the break wall, you can't,
You still could put a fence.
Parallel to the shore, but 10 feet away from the break.
10 feet away.
Yeah, but 10 feet back, correct, yeah.
if I may, Bill has just found the picture where there is one adjacent to our property.
someplace.
Across the waterfront,
Yes,
parallel to the waterway.
yeah.
Okay.
That doesn't mean it's been approved.
Yeah.
Thanks for tipping us in.
Yeah,
It looks like there's several of our neighbors to those ones.
Okay, that was the Depews.
Yes,
East.
We'll check into that.
yeah, that would be
And
80.
Bill, if someone can just give me a list of the names or properties, I can go back and try and pull the record to see if there's any variances ever for any of those, or planning board approval or whatever, so that you guys can have it for zoning board.
Yeah. That would be the Depews. I'm guessing that their address is 8587.
I believe so.
So it's
Adjacent to
it was
the,
83, 85,
yes,
87.
yes. And one other concern is that is still that shallow depth where we may have how many yards? 10 to 12 yards from the house to the water. And then at 85, 83, our empty lot, yes, it does. That's why we have the shape of the state of Utah, it juts out. So we're very limited. If we were going to do a fence, it would literally come to the deck, not even, the stairs. So that would be very difficult for us to work within that constraint.
Have you merged the two lots? Do you intend to?
To merge them, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head right now.
We have no plan to do that, but we own that free and clear. There is no, they do belong to.
I think, it could have some relevance.
That could, but off the topic, usually you save tax money when you come from.
Yes, correct. So just as a reminder, is that the fence does not continue up to that. So if we have, may I step forward? So let's say this is our lot. So let's see, we come up the side, the back of the house, and then it juts forward All we are trying to do is come up the southernmost break wall and a few feet this way. But it continues up to here, so we're not actually going, we would easily be 10 feet off that, further north. We're not going all the way.
He's got it up right there.
Mhm.
Yeah, so this
I know
part is.
You
That's the
have,
part that sticks out. And it goes west.
I can see
Yeah.
3 gates, maybe a 4th one here. It may win you some points with the zoning if you were able in that fence across the break wall, incorporate a double gate that can swing open to allow access to the water.
Okay. My question is, I don't think we have, so if a 4-foot gate and another 4 feet, we don't have 8 feet. You know, where it juts north again, maybe we have 4 feet there. So we have a 4-foot in this corner,
Well,
we have the 4-foot
I
there.
think Bruce is talking about on this long run between from the east corner
Okay,
to where it
angle.
turns into the diagonal.
okay,
If you were to put 2 4-foot gates that opened in to provide an 8-foot means of access, if you will,
Over the break wall,
over the break wall,
understood.
that might win you some points with some.
Okay. The gate access that's still on the property on that side would not qualify for that. Just
It's not 8 feet.
No, it's not 8 feet.
That's,
If you're
that you were
looking
referring to.
for the 8 feet, then is that what you're looking for?
well, I think the objective would be to make it as wide open as possible in the event of an emergency. Okay,
you would still have that tooth,
8 feet, they can get most of their equipment through there.
okay,
Through 8 feet,
yeah,
can get most of their equipment through.
okay.
and just one note on that, though, the break wall, though, will still be 2 feet,
That's
doesn't
okay.
matter.
That's okay.
We understand.
Yeah, it's not our job to do zones.
and separately, just as a point of information, the fence itself would be 4 feet on top of the break wall.
No,
It'd
From
be
the
4
ground.
feet from the ground in front of the break wall.
yes,
Okay, I didn't know if it was actually gonna be affixed to the break walls,
No.
to the front of the, to
No.
the top of the break wall,
no, it will be poured in cement into the ground,
on the inside of the wall.
correct.
Ellen, any questions?
No, no questions for me. Thank you.
Board members, any more questions? We have to make a recommendation, one way or the other, we can.
Do we need to do a
Suggestions.
WAF on this?
Kevin? Since this is.
Yeah, sorry, I heard the question. Usually you guys do the WAF. That's up to you if you want to do it for, because you're going within 10 feet. It's up to you if you want to do it.
No, we're not required.
No,
Not for, so this one isn't, I mean, traditionally you guys have only done it for break walls, docks. I don't recall you guys doing it for like the most recent fence would be like Corey Smith. I don't recall you guys doing it for that one. If you want to do it, if you feel like you need the questions or want to do it for questions for zoning, you can.
I don't think we'll go out of our way for that. Oh. Ooh. I've got another question, if you
Yeah.
don't mind.
you gotta remember, Tom Johns is bigger than I am.
The portion that's proposed to run on the diagonal, currently, it appeared to me that the break wall, and that's a 90-degree angle on the break wall. Would that be floating over water?
No, no, not at all. Actually, it should It should be a 90-degree, but the way it was built with its permit was going across. I can't
That
explain.
is a break wall. That is a-
Yes.
That is a.
Yes,
Oh, that
this
is break
part
wall?
is the break wall.
yeah,
The whole property is surrounded. If you look at at this part right along there on both sides, that's also cement. So I believe that the corner was a previous break wall or
Okay.
some
I-
sort of.
I was
or
referring
something
to
past.
this,
Yeah,
this 45-degree angle piece.
Right.
so there is no square section there.
No access, right?
correct.
That's filled.
Okay,
Uh,
I didn't observe that today, so. Thank you. All right,
would anybody like to venture a recommendation?
I move that we refer the application for 83 Greg Street,
Want to change
it's
the
85,
address?
85,
85
yes.
Greg Street, to construct a 4-foot high, 136 feet long fence per plot drawing within the 10-foot of the brick wall, where fences must be 10 feet off the high water mark for brick wall. With the understanding that there will be gates included that allow access by first responders to and from the bay.
Including along the portion parallel to the water line.
Yeah, that's,
I'll second that.
All those in favor, say aye. Those
Aye.
Nay,
Then we will send that to the zoning board. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Zoning board will meet here 7 o'clock a week from today.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Have a good night.
All right, Mr. Shoulders. Welcome back.
Likewise.
Look around.
Yeah.
I didn't notice any changes in what you were.
No, I just got the drawings done.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Sheldon?
I have none.
no,
I hadn't seen it as part of the preliminary, but it looks pretty straightforward to me.
When he was here.
it's
Previous.
been a long time.
Yeah, just waiting till the the people around here go a little bit, well, it's not so busy.
When he was here previously. Discussed. It's 1-bedroom house. And obviously, you look around here, you're gonna have company. So. An extra 2 bedrooms would be rather handy.
Oh, for sure.
It doesn't obstruct anybody's view, it's. Well, under the 30 feet height. And are you still planning on using, the same color?
Yeah, the siding, I was gonna go with, like, in the front part, I was gonna like dress it up a little bit, cause I'm tearing it off, I was just gonna keep the existing part of the cottage that. The new part that we built before, I was gonna keep that. It's got two corners on it, and the front part, I was gonna cedar shake it. But keep the same color, just dress it up a little more. It's the last time I'm doing it. Yeah, it's the last time.
And keeping the metal roof.
Yes, yes. The porch will stay the same. The only thing that's changing is where my living room is. My living room's got a vaulted ceilings like 18 foot. I'm putting floor joists in there, walls, and then carrying my truss line out to the front porch. And the front porch will die into this, the new part of the house.
Dave, you've been going through this process yourself.
Well, yeah, a little bit.
You got any questions for me?
I was just curious, did it go through zoning already?
Yes,
Okay,
came to us first.
because it's so close to the
Zoning.
street, they probably didn't have it set that.
Fact that he's not extending it further. to
Further,
the street.
correct. Yeah. And I was told I can't go back to zoning.
So. Let's get, any questions?
No.
Janine?
No.
Alan, any questions?
No,
May I have a motion
I move that we approve the final site plan review for 8482 Wickham Boulevard to construct a front house addition for stamped plans, 26 feet to peak, 20 feet wide.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you guys very much.
Stop by, so you can get your permit.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night.
All right, Mr. Tobin. Yes. Yeah. Tell us about your project, please.
Okay, when we bought the property, had the brick wall there. But they never put a cap on it. They had some rods coming up through, like they were gonna put a cap on it, but they never did, so we're just trying to put a cap on, for a concrete cap on it to level it up a little bit. Make it look nicer, and put some veneer stone on the inside. Just to dress it up a little.
I can't tell from the drawing. How thick is the cap gonna be? 6 inches?
I would assume it'd have to be, like, we're really not sure. It's a little quicker, so it's probably gonna be a little thicker, some areas around it. I would hope, I guess they never. Wasn't in the, is that in the place here? Is that what in the house?
On the water side, it's 34 inches
Yeah, but the
and then 21 inches
21.
across,
Cap parts.
21 inches.
right, he's adding a cap to it, that's why I was asking about if that is a cap.
Oh, and this way you mean?
But anything that increases the height of the break wall is good.
Yeah.
So.
I think you're just finishing the job.
Yeah.
I visited with your wife briefly this afternoon, and it was like, as soon as I walked in the backyard, it's like, well, all you're doing is finishing the work. Yep, okay.
Trying to make it look nicer.
And then you're gonna clad the inside with,
Yeah.
some more decorative, stone for face, facade. That'd be nice.
Do we have to do a lot for this?
Yes.
Okay.
I brought extras in case people need.
Do we do that before or after public comments? No public comments?
No public comment. The only one has public comment, that's last one. Anybody need a WAF form?
We can share.
I brought extras.
Got it on my phone.
All right,
We just have to go through a checklist.
Okay.
Okay. You can follow along, maybe.
okay, so unlisted.
You got an extra thing.
Yes, sir.
This is helpful.
Unlisted action. And we're gonna slide over to C. Yeah. Okay, we start with, will the proposed action have a significant effect upon commercial, recreational use of fish and wildlife?
No,
No,
Scenic quality of the waterfront environment,
no,
development of future or existing water dependent uses,
no,
stability in the shoreline,
no,
no,
surface or groundwater quality,
no,
no,
existing potential public recreational opportunities,
no,
no,
structures, sites, or districts of historical, archaeological, or cultural significance to this municipality, state, or nation.
no,
Okay, number two. Will the proposed action involve or result in any of the following? Physical alteration of land along the water, along the shoreline, underwater, or coastal waters.
no,
Physical alteration of 2 or more acres of land located elsewhere in the local waterfront revitalization area.
no,
Expansion of existing public services or infrastructure in undeveloped or low density areas of the waterfront area.
no,
no,
Energy facility not subject to Article 7 or 8 of the Public Service Law.
no,
no,
Mining, excavation, drilling, or dredging.
no,
Reduction of existing or potential public access to or off the field.
no,
no,
Sell or change in use of publicly owned lands located on shoreline.
no,
no,
Development within a designated flood hazard area.
no,
No, putting cap on isn't development.
Right.
Development on a natural feature that provides protection against flooding or erosion.
no,
no,
Diminished surface or groundwater quality.
no,
no,
Removal of ground cover from the site.
no,
no,
Number 3, if project is to be located adjacent to the shore, will water-related recreation be provided?
no,
no,
Will public access to the shoreline be provided?
no,
no,
Does the project require a waterfront site? Yes,
yeah,
it makes sense otherwise. Will
put a
it's,
brick wall out in the middle of the field.
will it supplant a recreational maritime use?
no,
No,
Do essential public services or facilities presently exist at or near the site?
no,
no,
Is the project site located in an area of high erosion?
no,
no,
Is the project located in a flood prone area?
yes,
yes,
Yeah, unfortunately. We know what happened
yes,
with the
a
high.
couple times, yeah,
B, if a project is publicly owned, it's not. C. Is the project site presently used by the community as open space or recreational area?
no,
Does the site offer or include scenic views, and this is known to be important to the community?
no,
no,
Will the surface area of any waterways or wetland areas be increased or decreased by the proposal?
no,
no,
Will the project involve any waste discharges?
no,
Does the project involve surface or subsurface liquid waste disposal?
no,
Does the project involve transport storage, treatment, or disposal of solid waste or hazardous materials?
No,
Does the project involve shipment or storage of petroleum products?
no,
Does the project involve discharge of toxins, hazardous substances, or other pollutants?
no,
Does the project affect any designated, an area designated as freshwater wetland?
no,
Will the project alter drainage, flow patterns, or surface water runoff on or to the site?
no,
Will best management practices be utilized to control stormwater runoff into waterways?
yes,
Yes.
Will project policies, commissions, which exceed federal or state air quality standards and values submit? Or generate significant amounts of nitrous oxide?
no.
No.
And then the last part, I'll fill out, so I can get it together. Okay. So, are there any other questions? Well, if not, then maybe we have a motion.
I move that we approve the application to construct a break wall per DEC permit at 8553 Greg Street.
I will second that.
And also including the WAF in that,
Thank you. She seconded that too.
I second that.
second that too.
Second,
Thank you.
second.
Thank you.
Okay,
Well
all
done.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. This is the part that will be open to public comment before we vote. Okay, Mr. Halligan, you can step up. Tell us about your project, please.
Okay, so, some of you I know, this is the 8359 South Shore, taking over that cottage. My dad, had that cottage for about 25 years. And, Dad got his money's worth out of the place. It's built on wood posts. It's got 2 bedrooms. Tried to figure out if we could, do an addition. So we basically need more room. So we are gonna tear down that cottage and, rebuild. We've got the plans drawn. I just completed a project in Newark that, we purchased a home and put some additions on. And I've got what I think is a dream team for me for doing the contracting and all the work. So I've got a good contractor, good designer, the designer, and I don't know if you have the prints in front of you from
Yes.
Haney Associates at Airport. The general contractor is a fellow named Bill Gruber. He's got 5 good guys working for him. And we're hoping to break ground, you know, if we can get everything moving properly in late August, early September. I talked with Kevin. Kevin's been great, accessible and very helpful. Focused mainly on the elevations and the setbacks. It's a 2-story house. It's about 1,900 square feet, about 1,200 on the first floor and 700 on the second floor. It's going to have a deck facing the bay, and over the deck, part of the deck's going to have a permanent a roof on posts down to the ground, and the other will be open. It will not be enclosed. It'll have a kind of a deck-like fence around the entire thing. The crawl space will be set at about, I think the floodplain, I don't think, the floodplain's at 249, so we're gonna put the crawl space, top of the cement will be at 249. We're thinking 4 inches of concrete at the top level will be at 249. I understand you can't have a water heater or a furnace or anything down there, but it'll be good for access. I only want to have one step up into it, so I can't really go too much higher for the first floor. So the reason I'm here tonight is just to familiarize you with the project and see if there's any things that we should be thinking about. The drawings that, I don't know if you, do you have the actual drawings? They're preliminary right now.
We have floor plans.
But yeah, there may be some cosmetic changes made. We may increase the size of the deck, for example. I'm not sure we're gonna increase the living area. But I'm hoping next time I come, I will have some engineered prints, for you to, look at, and hopefully approve. I don't believe any zoning, variations are required. The elevations are fine, I believe, and the setbacks are fine.
Your coverage is at 23%, which is well under the 30%.
Right.
rule.
Right.
Your setbacks are fine. It's a rarity.
What's your peak? What's the highest peak?
Good question. And I've talked to the neighbors about this. The neighbors are, I've talked to them. I don't know. It's gonna be a normal 2-story house.
Okay,
We've got our 30-foot.
yeah, it can't be more than 30 foot according to code.
Okay. Not more than 30 feet.
And
Above, what's that, 30 feet above the ground?
Above the mean ground level surrounding surrounding the structure.
Okay. What I'm envisioning doesn't seem exceptional, so it seems like 30 feet is doable.
Well, as you look around, you notice the houses do conform. We've had the situation a couple times in the last year where we had to tell people no because we wanted to exceed the 30 feet. Zoning is back that up also, so 30-foot is.
Unless you're planning on putting in a significantly high crawl space
No, no,
and
no,
10-foot ceilings and that sort of
no
thing.
cupola or anything fancy up on top.
Hopefully you're gonna get there, but we need to know for the
Yeah.
final.
Okay,
Okay.
so we'll have that.
Looks like a nice house.
It'll be nice. It'll be simple but nice. Yeah, it'll be simple but nice.
And you're keeping the small garage.
The garage, and there's also a shed down near the water
Okay,
that
yeah,
that we're
I
also
saw that.
keeping, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
What's the total square footage?
It's about 1,900 square feet. Yeah. About 1,200 on the first floor and 700 on the second floor.
That's not including the decks.
That does not include the deck.
How about the entrance
It
way?
doesn't include the entrance either. That's the livable space.
I walked around there yesterday, nobody answered the door, but your neighbor's dogs answered, so.
What's that?
I said, nobody was home at your place, but the neighbor dogs. right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll give it to you, the house does look like it's, seen better days.
So good luck.
Yeah, yeah. So, I think what I'm wondering is, in terms of timing, I'm really hoping to start, around Labor Day. I don't know if that's doable administratively or not.
Administratively, a lot of it will depend upon you coming back with stamp plans. We, since there's no need for zoning. The soonest, if you got stamp plans to Kevin, your final design. We could hear you, in 2 weeks.
Okay, suppose I came back with stamp plans 2 weeks is, August, like August 7th.
Pardon me?
Suppose I didn't come back with stamp plans until the 7th of August.
1, 2.
Yeah.
3.
Well,
You would
We're
actually
gonna
be
meet on the
fourth,
4th.
Oh, okay, the 4th of August.
yeah.
That's not,
That doable?
sure.
And after
That gives
you-
us 2 bites of the apple if we would need them. The 4th of August, and then 2 weeks after the 4th would be the 18th,
okay,
which would give you still plenty of time to get started by Labor Day.
okay,
Sorry, I'm just
Okay.
saying the quickest would be in 2 weeks.
okay.
Yeah, the quickest,
Oh, no,
I don't have to
ready.
be-
I'll be ready in 2 weeks. I
okay.
guarantee it.
But if you get back to us with stamp plans to Kevin, so he has a chance to review them prior to our meeting on the 4th.
Okay,
We could conceivably approve them on the 4th, okay? Alternatively, it would be bumped out if you needed a few extra days. it would be bumped out to our meeting on the eighteenth.
Right,
Okay,
right.
so
Every first and third.
Right,
Right.
And as far as the tear down, I understand I've got to get the asbestos survey done. My grandpa's
well,
do it.
tear downs, if you get the information demolition from Kevin, that has nothing to do with this.
Okay, I don't have to appear here.
Kevin? Okay, Kevin.
Yep.
Um, demolition. He just come to see you, to get a permit, right?
Yep, once we get the asbestos survey back, depending on what shows, if it's clean or hot, then we give it to the water and sewer department. They just talk about capping off and securing the lines so that we don't have any debris or anything go into them. And then once I get the sign off from them, we would issue the demo permit.
So that can be done prior to permission to build.
Right.
so you can get those wheels going right now.
Oh,
Okay, get the asbestos
Mhm,
folks in to do their testing, because that takes a while, Steve.
mhm. Yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you a name if you don't have one.
I'll take it.
Okay,
And if for some reason the plans aren't approved on the eighteenth, then I have to wait 2 more weeks to make adjustments and that, correct? Just understand how it all works.
yeah, and
Actually, it'll
then
be,
Labor Day might follow things up a little bit in there as well, so
Yeah,
put the flyers under the,
yeah.
okay.
Okay,
Are we, any other questions before I open this to public comment?
None.
okay, thank you very much.
David, you want to make any comments?
No.
Okay. Looks like Kevin and Ellen are the only ones on Zoom. So I'll close. I know you're a reporter, but,
No, I'm not actually on a property.
oh,
I'm usually on Zoom person.
well, you want to comment?
Nothing.
Okay. All right, well, since nobody wants to comment, we'll close public comment. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the preliminary site.
Hey, Steve?
plan.
We're making a motion to approve.
Oh, okay,
We're almost ready to preliminary approve.
Apologize.
Oh, Rob, walk out.
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve the preliminary site plan for 8359 South Shore Road to construct a 27-foot by 40-foot single-family structure with an 11-foot by 18-foot front entry and a 27-foot by 16-foot deck for preliminary plans, with the caveat that the building shall not be greater than 30 feet at peak.
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing no objections. You made the first hurdle.
Okay, thank you.
Now you can leave.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And
Thank
you
you.
should have that, contact, okay?
All right. Dave, assuming you're here,
Yeah, I'm going, but I got some questions, that was all, following a couple things. So if I need to be on an agenda, I will get on it, if not, then I ask the question.
well, you're not on the agenda.
I have no problem with it.
John, as long as.
All right, step on up.
Okay. You guys know I've been pretty involved with what's going on up the hill from us. Where are we with that project? I
Okay,
know I went through zoning and it was approved and that's.
where we're sitting right now, David, is we're waiting on his engineer to get their plans to us, so we can send it to our engineer. Then once everything is copacetic and we get a update on the seeker, then it will go to DEC to get an update on his his stormwater.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Once he has that, then he comes back. And if everything is done properly, then he would get a permit. But he's not moving very fast.
Is there? Presently, there's restrictions on what's the parking lot up there.
There,
Is the parking lot still in effect? What's going on with that?
okay, what's going up there? Soon
It's not anything.
asking
that
about
was-
the dirt, gravel. DEC gave him permission to stockpile gravel as long as he didn't disturb the fill. But stockpile gravel that we later used to construct that path down to below. As far as the storage of the old docks, the trailers, those are still within the guidelines. And
Then the guidelines of what? It's not the guidelines of what was approved for that.
it was allowed to store trailers on that part, usable materials on that part. Once the construction gets going, all that is to move down the hill into the building.
We have an ongoing debate about whether there's all of that material that he stored over in the equipment storage area, not in the trailer storage area, but whether that's all usable equipment or not. But that, we're not gonna resolve that here or otherwise, he says it's gonna be addressed as part of the reconfiguration of things from what gets moved from up above to down below.
But when I see what you call within the guidelines of what that parking lot was, my understanding was, and I think that it was supposed to be a parking lot that was lined according to the sizes of the lot, the 10 by 20 foot lot, parking spots lined. And it was in the lot half of it, not overflowing into the other half. It was on the drawings, what consisted of the parking lot, what consisted of the storing. And what's up there now is not what it was approved. Do you think it is? When you look at that, when you drive by that,
It's a mess. I
it's
say that it's a mess.
been a mess for 3 years.
We came to the agreement year and a half ago. And he's right on the edge of, Brad pushes as much as he can, but, we're working. Saying, are we happy with the situation as it is now? No. But
I think you're aware that when he was in here seeking approval for his next reuse, rearrangement of use of that property, that we actually put a timeline on his completion of certain aspects of the original approval, okay? Addressing the side hills, okay? We indicated that each of the areas of the side hills must be addressed as those areas are developed. And his intention is to develop the two lower buildings first. So as those areas are completed, those areas, the perimeter of each of those areas needs to be dressed properly in a final form, or he can't go on to the next site to do it. And then overall, we gave him a 3-year limit for everything to be dressed and completed, regardless of whether he ends up getting approvals or has the economics or whatever combination of variables might exist for him to develop the 4 buildings, okay? Regardless of whether those go through or not, everything needs to be completed with the final dressing of those side hills and whatever conditions need to be met for the SWIP for the property as a whole.
And if he does the bottom part, does the upper part remain as it is now, as an open dumping ground or whatever
There's gonna be a building.
on top eventually? But if he does only the bottom part first, you said 3 years, so
Well,
the next year, then what happens the next year?
His permit would run out at that point,
What's that?
right? Wouldn't his permit run out at that point?
So he's gonna have to have
He's
all
gonna-
4 buildings up at that point?
Kevin,
Yeah, I'm here.
are we getting into a sticky area because this wasn't publicized?
Yeah, I want to.
You are a little bit. I'm listening to the questions. I haven't heard anything yet where you guys have delved too far into it. You're kind of just answering generically. If the board doesn't feel comfortable though, at any point you can just schedule this and publicize it if you want the applicant there to describe anything, or if you just want to get the public involved. You haven't said anything that I wouldn't feel comfortable with. Definitely answering the time frames and all that stuff, just be careful there. Make sure it's in the minutes, whatever you're answering there. So up to the board. If you guys want to keep doing that, you're welcome to. If you want to advertise and we can have a public discussion, that's fine too.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ryan.
You know, yeah, and I understand it, and I'm not holding anybody to it, I'm just kind of spewing out what we're seeing happening there as neighbors and that we've discussed. So those are
And I
things,
can take some of the heat too, David. We're trying to get Brandon to get the plans together. I know right now is the busy season for him. I actually did send him an email this afternoon because I called him. Bruce, it's kind of a weekly reminder from Bruce to me to say, hey, where are those plans? We got to get the SWIP going. So the planning board is actively pushing on me, and then I'm pushing on Brandon. I emailed him this afternoon to remind him to send me the updated SWIP.
If he wants to make money storing boats, he can't do it without the building, so.
Right.
So the planning board is trying, they are trying to get this project to get going and get improvements on it so they can meet the timeframes.
All right, but Dave, I think we've answered as much as we can.
yeah, no, I'm good with it, I just am spewing out my concerns, and I will do them at a public meeting of it stuff, because
It's fine.
what I see is stuff at the marina that hasn't been completed. That was supposed to be done there, and still not seeing those things done, and so is the same thing gonna happen up there, that we're gonna have stipulations put on the property, and here we are 3 or 4 years later, and things are.
There are things I can't discuss right now. Okay. So I'm gonna. I'm gonna ask for motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We're adjourned.
Just David.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Have a good night, guys.
Yeah.
You'll have to end it on your side.
Kevin, I'm gonna leave Tony's
Yeah.
lap right here on the folders. In fact, I'll put it in his folder.
Okay.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, guys. You'll have to end it there, Bruce. I don't have my laptop with Wi-Fi. I'm on my phone. Home Wi-Fi is not working great tonight.
Okay.
Right.
Have a good night, guys.
Thank you. You too.
Where'd you hit your galley?
Well.
You don't want to hear this, Gavel.